about how the potential for Evan Mobley's growth can potentially be the biggest thing for the long-term success of the Cavs. In what ways are you starting to see that manifest itself?
I mean, he's taken over basketball games, and he's showing skills that we see him work on every single day in practice, and he's taking them and implementing them in the game. And he's not doing it against second unit guys or next level guys. Like, he's going at the best. The best teams. You think about the Milwaukee last night against Denver. He's showing that he can compete at a high level with those veteran players that have been doing it for a long time.
And talking about it, taking over basketball games, how much of that growth then is also taking it over at the end of games, and not just him, but just the maturation process of realizing that he can also be a closer like the Donovans and the defense.
Right, and it's different for big guys, especially nowadays, where you need somebody to deliver the ball to you. And the comfort level of guards who have been primary scorers, right? So now they've got to build that relationship and that rapport, and it takes time. It takes understanding what the defense is doing, how you play in a partnership or even in a threesome to figure out the different reads. So, obviously we believe in Evan. We have high hopes for where he's going, but we also believe that the group of them can be extremely difficult to guard and then do some things defensively too. So, we feel like we're in a very lucky and fortunate spot that we do have the young guys that we have, and that was our job to keep developing them and help them get better.
Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com.
I feel like you're way too close to me.
I know. It's very close.
Oh, 6 feet.
There you go. Move back a little bit. With Kevin now out of the mix officially, what's your vision for the backup power forward spot?
I think it can be fluid at times. I think there's different lineups that we can play. Obviously, we've sized down a little bit, which gives you some different dynamics. I see a place where Danny gets some opportunities at the 4. Now he can stretch the floor and guard different positions as well. I'm interested to see what all of our smalls can look like. There's a world where there's a Ricky, Darius, Donovan, Karras, and one of our bigs line up and see what that looks like. So, we've got a little bit of time to play with those things. Like, Dean Wade, gets the first crack a lot because, his ability to space the floor, his ability to guard bigger players. But I think we can be pretty versatile depending on, where we can create an advantage versus our opponent.
Generally speaking, how comfortable are you playing small? We know you're very comfortable playing big.
I mean, again, I always prefer size. That's just kind of, my upbringing and, my comfort level. There are so many things that you can do with smaller guys where you can be more dynamic. You can be harder to guard. In my mind, always goes back to the defensive end of the floor and, what you do there. We still believe that our defense is going to be what separates us when we get to, when we reach our potential. So don't want to be in a position where we take a step back defensively because we get, minor gains on the offensive end.
You guys have been in the 4th spot for a majority of the season. How important is it for you guys to either retain that spot or climb in the Eastern Conference?
Our focus right now is just continuing to get better. Getting our whole group together, finding our weaknesses, finding our strengths, developing our strengths, continue to work on our weaknesses. We haven't looked at spots yet. I think we've got a ways to go there. We need to do the job that's in front of us. And if we do the job that's in front of us, that's going to take care of itself.
Tim Elkhorn, Cavs Audioverse. JB, where have you seen Evan's offensive game really grow?
I think his ability to play through contact and his, aggressiveness to attack people. What we've seen Evan now is Evan is the guy that's hitting first. Evan, to his credit, has dedicated himself to the weight room, in a way that's, it's every single day he's in there doing something, and you can see it on the floor. Like, there's a strength that he believes, now he can hit guys, get through them, and go do what he needs to do. You know, there's the ability to change directions and still be explosive that I think has come from that strength as well. So his commitment to the weight room has given him that belief, and now he's aggressive and he's just attacking people.
I just had a quick chat with him and I asked him about expanding his arsenal. Where have you seen him get much better? Is there a particular area on the offensive end?
You know, it's funny. It's like when you take Evan in a 1-on-0 workout, right? Like there's so much more there than he's been able to put out on the floor. So it's, you know, not a matter in my mind of expanding. It's a matter of implementing all the things that he's really capable of.
Sorry.
In the past 5 years, I think there's been 12 mid-season coaching changes. You obviously are part of one of them as well. But is there a sense like of rejuvenation of a team usually in that scenario playing that first game? Is he to caution for or not really?
And that's a sensitive subject from coaches' standpoint. But you know, there's always different reasons why. But you know, for players, at some point in time, you know, you have to bear the responsibility of what happened with the coach also. So, you know, when a coach does get fired, you know, players feel as if they have to raise their level so that it's, you know, not necessarily our fault. So they are dangerous from that standpoint. So again, that's just something as a group we've got to be prepared for.
John.
Yeah, I don't think we ever had to deal with this. I'm curious how it changed your preps when there's a coaching change for the other team and they haven't played a game yet, and so you kind of don't totally know what you're getting into.
Yeah, you're trying to figure out, you know, how much time they've had to change. You know, it's still a focus on personnel and what that individual guy likes to do. You know, what does Trae Young do? What does Clint Capella do? You know, those types of things, as opposed to, you don't know if they're going to implement a bunch of new plays, right? But you figure they're going to play to their guys' strengths still. So I think with our guys, it's just making sure we're focused in on, you know, this is this guy's strength. You know, DeJounte Murray likes to go this way. He likes to get to this spot. You know, how do we stop him from getting to that spot, as opposed to, you know, they're going to run pistol, 2 down, you know, for whatever it may be. You have to focus more on the individual's strengths as opposed to, you know, what new plays or sets the coach can implement in this amount of time.
Last one, Chris.
JB, going back to Danny really quick since you brought him up. He played the other night against Philly and he didn't play last night against Denver. What, if anything, behind the scenes do you need to see from him that is going to allow you to be comfortable to put him in your rotation?
It's not a matter of comfort. I think we need to be cautious and remember where he came from. You know what I mean? Like, he's 8 months from, you know, a major surgery. We're not going to do anything that's going to put him in a position of risk. So, you know, in my mind, you know, back-to-backs, those are things that you have to caution and pay attention to. You know, there's got to be a long-term plan. Like with us, you know, where we feel we'll need Danny is late in the season, and hopefully, you know, if we make it into a playoff run. So we need to prepare for that, and that's where my mind is. It's not something where, you know, it's a desperation and we need to do something right now. This is a long play for us to make sure he's ready when we need him most.
Thank you.
Okay, just gonna wrap the coach. Everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.